Well, joining us now, Danny Pugsley, editor of the Manchester City fan site, Bitter and Blue, and the author of Man City 365, a history of the club. Danny Pugsley, what are the bits that we haven't heard about from Kemi and Zerum, and what do supporters really think is going on behind the scenes?
I think it's difficult to know in general, really, because there have been such mixed messages, both from the Tevez camp, who were saying the issue is nothing to do with money, and then obviously the club's official line, who are pointing the finger clearly at the Tevez camp, particularly his representatives, and really suggesting that the contract issue, and they've tried to repeatedly force a new contract negotiations on the club, is the real issue. So behind the scenes, there's probably so much going on that we're not too sure of. It's just really difficult to get a real handle on things at the moment.
Well, I mean, there are a couple of sort of odd things. One is people say that he's never really acclimatised to kind of living in England. He doesn't speak much English and apparently misses his daughters a great deal. He's estranged from his wife. I mean, it's not much of a life, is it?
No, that's difficult for him. Obviously, the homesickness issue is one that's been well documented over the years. Both his previous clubs, United and West Ham as well. I do think the issue, the overriding feeling fans are feeling at the moment is it does have more to do with money than necessarily solely the homesickness reason. I mean, the issue he gave, or the reason he gave in blaming the certain executives at the club, seems a very strange line to take. And I do wonder if he's tried to play that line in terms of trying to get the fans behind him, the support behind him. Particularly praise the ownership and the manager as well, who's been reported to have serious fallouts with.
Well, I mean, one of the problems is it's very hard to imagine anybody earning $250,000, if that is what he is, per week. Somehow really feeling it's a good idea to try and screw a bit more out of the club. Except, of course, the complication is he's got a sort of middle agency that's handling him, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, his sort of representatives or the people advising him, has been well documented that they've caused problems, with clubs at the past, and there is a suggestion or a school of thought that this is perhaps the main reason behind the issue, and that City and these certain executive individuals are actually trying to maybe sort of lessen the influence or squeeze these advisors or representatives, out of the negotiating position.
Doesn't say much for football that one moment we get you on to talk about Man City, we don't talk about the football, we talk about money.
Well, that seems to be the common thread throughout City at the moment. It seems to be an easy line to take, obviously, as well as they're doing on the pitch. The focus tends to be on the money and off the field.
Well, we'll try to talk about the football next time, Danny Pugsley. Thanks a lot for joining us. To his supporters, he's a